Hello, this is Professor Tom Wolf, and we're continuing with our series of videos on the Java Swing Graphical User Interface Programming System. We're going to really level up in this video. We're going to convert our program into a J-frame by using inheritance. We're going to add a JButton and create an action listener that will respond when the user clicks the button. And we'll use an inner class for our action listener. We're going to make an application where when the user pushes a button, it will change the background color. Okay, so I'm here in NetBeans. Here in my project, I've created a regular Java class, not a main class, and I've gone ahead and inherited JFrame, and of course then NetBeans prompted me to import the JFrame. So what's going to happen now is that my application is actually a frame object, and I can just use the frame capabilities directly off of it. I don't have to create a frame instance. Also, I'll be able to use the inner classes. So one of the things that will be different here is the way that the code is structured. I'm going to have a separate Java main class in a different file that will instantiate an instance of my color frame, change frame, and run it. Okay, so what do we need for our frame? We're going to need a JPanel to put our content in, and we're going to call that panel main. Since we're starting to get things a little more complicated, we're going to make real specific names to try to keep track of everything. So JPanel main equals new JPanel, and there's no params for that. Control-Shift-I to include the import library. And then let's go ahead and continue to have the label like we did before. So this label will be, we'll call this title. Oh, that's not a good name because the title is actually the on the title bar of the window. Okay, so JLabel. Since there's only one, I'm going to call this label new JLabel, and we'll call this color changer. So that'll be the default text of the label. You know, I actually started this out wrong. I want to do this in the constructor. So let me go ahead and do this. So public color. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I wonder what will happen if NetBeans inserts the constructor for me. That'll be interesting. Let's do that. Alright, right click, insert code, generate constructor. There's the super constructor. Oh, here we go. So we can pass in the, we want to use that one. We'll pass in the title then. To initialize by the constructor. The label. Okay. So let's generate this. And let's see what we got here. I don't really want to do that. Okay, I see what it did. So it's taking these as parameters to color changer, and really this is not going to change, so I don't want it to be a parameter. So let me just go ahead and modify what I got here. We'll get rid of this, and we don't need this exception here. Not really sure what that is, to be honest with you. And I don't need this one. Okay, so up here, JPanel main equals new JPanel. That gets moved down. I'll just copy this. This is some stuff we don't need either. Whoops. There we go. Alright, and then this just becomes a declaration. So I started to write the code in the wrong place. I want to just declare these things here so the scope is correct for what I want to be able to do with them. So, and mainly one of the things I want to do is I want to be able to access them from the inner classes. Okay, looks like we had a typo in here I didn't even catch. There we go. And then of course this just becomes a declaration as well. Alright, sorry about that. We're off and running now. Okay, so we have a panel called main, a label called label, and let's go ahead now and put in our first button, JButton, and we'll call this color changer BTN. Okay, again Control-Shift-I to add the import library for that. And then down here in the constructor, we'll go ahead and set that up. So that's going to be color changer BTN equals new JButton. And you can pass the text of the button in the constructor. So we'll go ahead and do that, and that'll be change color. Okay, so we have a panel, we have our label. Let's go ahead and add the font to the label like we did before. So label dot. Now we could create a font object and use it to change the font for both the label and the button, but really I kind of want them to be different, so I'm going to do them that way. So label set font, and so again I'm going to use an anonymous font object here. So new font, and then we saw this last time. I'm just going to go ahead and pass the name of the font. I'm going to continue with the Comic Sans MS because it's sort of playful, and I like the idea of these videos being playful. And then let's go ahead and make this italic, and 24 worked before, so we'll go ahead with that. Okay, so now I have a font on the label. I can set the font on the button as well, so let's do that real quickly. So color changer btn dot set font, and we'll just try some different ideas here. So new font. It'd be nice if you had better IntelliSense here. So Courier. I don't know if that'll work or not. We'll try it. Font dot bold. And this doesn't have to be 24, so let's make this say 16. We'll try that and see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the GUI running, and then we'll go back and do the action listeners for the button. So I've created the panel, the label, I've set the font on that, I created the button, I've set the font on that. Now I have to add the stuff to the GUI. And so we'll say label.add, and whoops, main.add, because main is the name of our panel. Okay, so main.add label, and then main.add color changer BTN. So now I've added the label and the button to the panel, and now I need to add the panel to the frame. Now there's no frame here because this is a frame, So to add the panel to the frame, I simply say add, and then main. Okay. And then we can set our, whoops, let's see, why doesn't it like that? Oh, you know what? I forgot to add the code to make it a frame. So here we go. Extends JFrame. Oops, misspelled it. Oh, there we go. I had a typo in there. It's just add. Excellent. Okay. So again, this is adding the panel main to the frame. Okay, so then we can call our other frame things here. Let's see, where's that constructor there? Oh, it looks like I lost that. Okay, yeah, we want to call super up here in the constructor. So super, and then this is going to just take the title. So color changer. Alright. Again, super has to be the first statement in the constructor. Oh, now what's it doing here? Nope. Oh, I see. I already had that in there. Sorry about that. Oh. Okay, let me see what's going on then. Yeah, I don't have to repeat extends JFrame there in the constructor. I did that in the class, so I made a mistake. I fixed it. Okay, so what's going on? We have the add main, and now we have to do those other values we did before. So for instance, we have to set the size. Whoops, I don't need the dot. Set size. I'd be a lot happier if the IntelliSense would come up. Let's see. Well, anyhow, let's make this one 400 by 400. And set default close operation, right? Set default close operation. And then, what is that? JFrame dot exit on close. That's what we want. And then finally, to launch this, we'd have to say set visible. Now, we could put that here, but it's sort of kind of weird to do that, because if you're using a main to create an instance of this, you'd think you'd want to control the display of the frame from the main. So let's go ahead and add the frame, and then we can test this. Then we'll go on and add the action listeners and hook the button up. So it should display our GUI, but the button won't work yet. Okay, I'm going to call this color changer viewer, which will actually launch my color changer. And this is a Java main class. So then we'll go ahead and fix the Egyptian brackets. And so JFrame frame equals new color changer frame. Got to put the import in here too. Control-Shift-I. And then now here's where I can say frame.set visible true. So you can see that the driver here, the color changer viewer main, is fairly trivial. Okay, let's go ahead and see if this is going to work. So we'll go ahead and run our new main. And there we go. So not bad. Alright. So here's the color changer. Notice that change color text is different. We click on that and nothing happens. But everything else works as we've seen before. Okay, so really what's happened is I've just moved the definitions of the GUI and more of the logic into the description of it as an object, and then I just have this simple runner that runs it. Okay, so let's go back now and refine this. And let's see where we're at on our time. 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Alright, let's go ahead and add the action listeners in. So I'm going to put those here in the color changer frame as inner classes. And so the first one is going to be the be hooked up to the button that changes the color. Okay, so let's see now. This is action listener color change listener implements. Whoops. Oh hell. Did this completely wrong. Let me start over. Class color change listener implements action listener. So action listener is this class that we implement all the time to create events that event handling code that responds to events that are generated by the users doing things like clicking on a button, which we're doing here, changing text, etc. So let's add the Control-Shift-I in there. Now, one cool thing here is NetBeans should be able to implement the interface for me, which saves me a bunch of time. Implement all abstract methods. That's good. So there it is. So action performed is the one that we have to implement. Let's begin to reformat this. And notice NetBeans has got it set so it'll run, but it'll throw an exception. And that's going to be replaced by what we actually want it to do. Okay, so the color change listener is going to change the color of the panel. That's set background. So if I look up here again, my panel is called main. So this is going to be main dot set background, and then it's going to take a color, and I'm going to do a random color. Now to do that, I need to go ahead and create a random object. So I'm going to do that here. So random R&D equals new random. And that's in java.util. I'll use the Control-Shift-I to add that in. And then here, this is going to be R&D dot next int. And then this is going to be 256, which is the range for RGB color. And I'm going to copy that because I need 3 of those. One for the red, one for the blue, one for the green. So copy, put a comma in there, paste it in, put another comma in there, paste it in. Now sometimes I'll format this so it displays nicely on a screen by doing this, which should be fine here. Alright. And let's go ahead and get rid of this so we have more screen space. And we'll figure out what our red ink is here. So main.set background. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. This is the details for color. So we have to have new color. So I got to pass that stuff to the color constructor. There we go. And let's see, looks like we need to use the import, Control-Shift-I. Yep, it didn't like that. Let's take a look. Huh. Oh, weird, it's not picking up the import for some reason. I'm pretty sure that's java.awt.color. So let's just try that. Import java.awt. There it is. Okay. Whoops. Now let's see if that took care of the problem. Yep, sure did. So I don't know why it wasn't finding the import. Okay, so what this does is it generates a random number generator, and then the generator gives us 3 random integers from 0 to 255, which form an RGB color, and then we set the background to it. And so this is our color changer listener class, which creates an action listener. So now we have to go back up into our code and find our button, create an instance of the listener, and add it to the button. Now for the scope, I want that to be declared up here like I did with the other GUI objects. So while we're here, let's clean up this formatting. I don't know why that got over like that. Okay, this is going to be action listener, and then color change. Now let's just call it color listener. That'll work. Okay. And we'll come on down here. Find that button. There it is. So let's make our color change listener. Or sorry, color listener equals new, and then here's, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Here's where we use our inner class. So color change listener, and then I take the button color changer btn dot add action. Prefer to do that with IntelliSense. It's add action listener. Oh, I misspelled it. That's why it's not coming out. So we want add action listener. There it is. And notice it even picked up the name correctly, the color listener. Okay, we should be good to go. This should actually work. Let's try it and see. And now you can see that it's changing the background color of the panel. Excellent. Alright, where are we at on our time? Let's see, 24. Let's go ahead and add one more button. It's a real common one, and that's going to be a quit button. So I'll come up here, JButton, quit btn. Down here where I create the color button, I'll now create the quit button. So quit btn equals new JButton. Again, we pass the text in. This will be quit. And now I see that I should have gone ahead and created a font so I could pass it because I want these to be the same. For right now, just to save time, I'm going to go ahead and copy this code. Oh wait, I shouldn't do that because I haven't created the action listener yet. Okay, let's just do that. So I'll come back and fiddle with the font and stuff later. So we have our quit button, and then we need to add that into the GUI. Main.add to the panel, actually. Quit button. Later on, we're going to see how to do layout managers. Right now, we're using a default layout called Flowlayout. So things appear from left to right as you add them in. So the label will be on the left, the change button will be in the middle, and the quit button will be on the right. So it'll actually display the button now, but again, the button won't do anything. So let's go back down here, and we'll add another inner class for the quit listener. And just to save time, I can go ahead and copy this and quickly edit it. So Control Copy, let's see, Control V to paste. I'll change this right off so I can get rid of some of these errors to make it a quit listener. I don't need the random anymore. I can get rid of all the code inside of the old action perform because this code is simply the code to stop a Java program, which you know is system exit and then 0, which indicates that it's quitting without an error. So this is a normal halt to the program. Okay, so now we just have to create an instance of our quit listener like we did before, and we have to come up here and declare it. So in addition to color listener, I have quit listener. And notice how we're using the interface type here. So these are both implementations of action listener. Okay, what's it called again? Quit listener. Where's our button? There it is. So quit listener equals new quit listen quit button dot add. Oh, here, let's get that IntelliSense because we want the add action listener. And that's pretty good. I'll just cruise over and change this from color to quit, and we're good to go. Okay, so now our quit button should work, and I'll go ahead and just try it. And then I'll go back and fiddle around with the fonts and stuff like that. And I'm not sure you need to see that again. So, alright, so here we go. Let's make sure our original button works. It does. And now when we quit with the quit button, it works the same way as when we close the frame. So there we go. That's pretty good. Take care.